Oftentimes, when people find out that I fly airplanes, one of the first questions they ask me is how hard is flying? And I often tell people that flying is extremely easy. It's called the big house, little house theory. When you're taking off, those big houses should get smaller. When you're trying to land, those little houses should get bigger. If either of those things are not happening, you're doing something wrong. So that said, flying is extremely easy. Just like my life, through all the trials, tribulations, challenges, marriages, all kind of crazy stuff, my life has been easy. And the reason my life has been easy is because of the giants and superheroes that are everyday superheroes in my life that are here in this room with us. Some not able to be in this room, but many of those people have been the giants whose shoulders I've had the fortune to stand on. There are some women that are on this front row that mean an extraordinary amount to me. Those women are my mother, my grandmother, and my wife, my spouse, my partner, my better two-thirds. And then, of course, my lovely daughter, who obviously steals the show. Those women have allowed me to stand on their shoulders. Those women have been the superheroes in my life, day in, day out, thick and thin, through alternative school, through the Air Force Academy, through some of the crazy trials that some of you in this room know about, through making it out of Oakland, California, through 11 combat deployments. Those women have been the shoulders of the giants that I've had the opportunity to stand on. They have been my superheroes. Those three women also motivate and inspire me every single day to become the man that I should be the husband that I ought to be, and to be the father that I always want to be. So thank you, Kathy, Grandma, Mom. You guys mean the world to me, so thank you. Being here right now is beyond emotional for myself as well as for my family based on the challenges that we've experienced together during this journey. Some of you know those challenges, some of you don't, but suffice to say, they were not easy challenges. They took a lot, and I had to lean on these folks to get through those challenging times. But I remember growing up, and my mother enlisted in the Army, at one point single parent with 4 children, E4 in the Army, single parent, back in 86, 87, with 4 children. You all do the math and wear this uniform, and you know how much an E4 makes today. Try being an E4 back in 87 with 4 children, not just 4 children, but 4 boys who could eat the back end out of a hog on any given day. And you'll understand the challenges that we experienced. I ensured that she, every day she walked out of that house, her BDUs were stark to the point that they would stand up. And she also taught me how to spit shine her boots, and so I made certain that her boots were spit shine every single day. But something that my mother told me that has always stuck out in my mind, and I laugh about to this day, is she would say, son, if you got, yes honey, you want to stand up here with me? Okay, come here. My mother would say, son, if you're going to go into the army or to the military, go in the Air Force. Son, if you're going to go into the military, go in as an officer. So thank you, Mom, for those 2 pieces of sage advice amongst the many other pieces of advice you gave me, because that enabled me to be here now. So thank you. Your wisdom and guidance means the world. To my grandmother, what you've done, what you've endured, holding our family together. What's up, babe? You okay? You want to go downstairs?
No.
You want to stay up here?
Yes.
Okay, you can stand right next to Daddy. How about you hold Daddy's hand? What you endured keeping our family together, Grandma, has been absolutely amazing. Being there with Granddaddy as a military spouse, as he deployed during Vietnam, and the uncertainty that doesn't even compare to deploying now with all the technology we have, you showed us what it takes to be a mother, what it takes to be a spouse, a grandmother, and what it takes to be the glue that holds the family together. So thank you for your wisdom, guidance, and sage wisdom along the way. To my wife, thank you. We met here in this place 18 years ago. For those who really want to know where we met at a stereo shop on the south side of town on Circle. Yeah. And she was in college, I was in college here, and she was actually my ring dance date. And so I'm extremely proud of this ring for more than just one reason. But one of them is because she was my ring dance date. So thank you for being with me on this journey for so long. Your strength, your courage, your wisdom, your guidance over these years have meant a lot. I had deployed 4 times before my mother, that was really weird. Before my wife and I were married, I had already deployed 4 times. And after we got married, I ended up deploying 7 more times. During our first 4 or 5 years of marriage, I stayed on the pager 24/7. My bag stayed packed 24/7. My wife knew that at any given moment, I could blow out the door with my crew or with ever by myself and be anywhere in the world and potentially not be able to speak to her, talk to her, have any idea about where I was at for a minimum of 60 days. That woman never questioned where I was at. That woman never questioned what it was that I did. She never questioned once about why I left the house not in a uniform or why none of my uniforms came out of my closet if I ever had to blow out the door that way. That woman has been there to support me. She has supported my family, and she is one of the most amazing mothers I've ever seen. So thank you for being my partner. To the friends and family, thank you. You guys have absolutely no idea what it means to see you in this audience. It means a lot to me. There are many of you in here that I would love to name, but I don't want to offend anybody by missing someone's name. And plus, I'll probably screw the name up anyway. And I'll probably say something weird. Thanks, General Sheely. I'd hate to say something weird. To the cadets, I've had a chance to get to know a lot of you guys along the way. Some of you guys know some of my challenges. Some of you guys are experiencing some of those same challenges. There's one cadet in this room who helped to really make this all happen. I won't have him stand up. I won't call him out by name. He knows who he is. For the cadets who don't know his story, take some time to figure out who he is and figure out what his story is. And for everybody else, let me just give you 3 things that I told this young man that has helped change his world and helped to change my world as a mentor, as well as a follower. This young man showed up at my house for a brunch one year and said that he was distraught, did not want to stay here, and didn't know if he was going to make it through this place. And I told him to do 3 things. I told him, number 1, no matter what you do, every time you walk out of your room, no matter how hard it is, all I want you to do is just smile. Because sometimes people just want to see you smile. And then they know that there's something warm about you, and people will begin to gravitate towards a smile. That young man started smiling. I told him to begin to ask his classmates who they were, to learn about them, so they in turn would feel comfortable learning about who he is and not just ostracizing him or allowing him to feel ostracized. I then told him to go to his leadership and learn about his leadership. Find out who they are. Find out about their families. Find out about their lives and their life's journeys. That young man did all 3 of those things. Every time I saw that young man, within about 3 months later, walking across the terrazzo, in Mitchell Hall, wherever, that young man had the biggest smile on his face, which in turn gave me the biggest smile ever. So some of you all, just take the first one and just smile. No matter how hard it is, no matter how tough it is, because life is not easy. Life isn't big houses and little houses. Life isn't flying easy airplanes around the world. Life is tough and challenging, as we all know. So I hope that you can continue to smile through the ups and downs, the good times and the bad times. And thank you again for your support. And before I finish up, let me make sure I give these flowers to my wife and not screw this up. These are for the wife. Here you go, man. Here you go, honey. Lena. You want some flowers, honey? Flowers, honey?